Welcome back. Thank you for joining us on the Entrepreneurial Leap podcast. I'm your host, Shaunette Stokes, and today we have Yainis Burgos. She goes by Yai, and her Instagram handle is Life with Yai. Yai, can you please tell us who you are and what you do?
Yes, thank you so much for having me. First of all, I'm just so excited to be here with you and talking about the entrepreneurial leap. You know me, I love small businesses, I love startup businesses, and I love people just making moves, right? That's what we're here for. Me specifically, I know you gave a brief bio, but um, I love marketing. It's what I
Mhm.
do. It's what I love. It's really my jam. I came to Tampa, went to the University of South Florida, and actually majored in marketing. And then later on, pursued my MBA with a concentration in global business management. I am currently a recruitment marketing manager for a big tech company. But most importantly, what I do as my passion project is I currently run the Faithful Hustle. And I do with the Faithful Hustle is I actually offer consultation services around marketing strategy for people looking to scale their business or start their. So, yeah, that's a little bit about me.
See, I had to make sure that you went uninterrupted because listen, I love talking to you about marketing because you have so many amazing ideas. And I think we could just
Thank
sit
you.
and have lunch and talk about marketing all day because I'm a brand gal and you're just all about brands as well. Small
Yes.
businesses are, I've seen you in the community and I've seen that you have a heart for small businesses. And I just love that because I think that's where we connect most because
Absolutely.
we see and we have that same love for seeing other people succeed. So I think that is so amazing. Can you tell me just a little bit about your personal branding philosophy? I want to know your branding philosophy.
That's a really good question. And I think for myself, I'm just what I have built my own brand on is really just making meaningful connections. I think what makes me really great at what I do and the opportunities that I've been blessed with is not my degree and it's not where I went to school. While I am extremely grateful for those things, I think that I have always been really great at making connections and having the right mentors in my life to really keep me on the path of success. And so, personally, my brand philosophy is absolutely built on connection. It's built on values. It's built on character. I'm very big on integrity and
Yes.
really just treating people and treating companies and partnerships and agencies the way that I would want to be treated. When I am working with clients, I always have my clients establish 4 brand pillars minimum. And so your main brand pillars are typically your purpose, your perception identity, your values, and the experience that you bring them. And so, what I try to teach these small businesses and these brands that I work with, it's not just about your offerings, it's not just about your
Right.
services. When you are a new business and when you are doing that entrepreneurial leap, it's really about making that connection with your audience and giving people enough insight into your life and into your character so that they want to work with you. Because when you are up against another, let's say, company or brand, at this point, you're telling your audience why they should work with you over this possibly larger company or brand that may not even have a personal identity because they have a team behind it.
And I think I've had this conversation with you before. And what I've struggled with in my own brand identity is vulnerability and knowing
Yes.
what is too much because I don't want
Mhm.
to expose too much of my personal life on my business page because a lot of people don't follow your business social media for your personal life sometimes. And we've had this conversation about me incorporating some
Right.
behind the scenes and just days in the life of. And I'm still trying. You're pushing me there. I'm trying
Right.
to expose that personal side of me on my business because it is still a part of your brand identity. And like you said, what sets you apart from other people. And I
Right.
love that. So tell us how the brand pillars, what do they do when they come up with those brand pillars? What do they use those for in their business moving forward?
So your brand pillars are really going to be the outline of all of the content that you output. So you're going to
Mm,
use this in your website, you're going to use this for your social media strategy, you're going to use this as part of your ads, and it really allows business owners to think less and stay in line with their strategy because it eliminates that question of, okay, what am I going to talk about today?
yes,
Or what am I going to post about? Or what kind of content or videos should I be creating? Once you establish your brand pillars, you really already know what your content should be surrounded
that's
on.
true.
And
That's
so you're
true.
staying to those topics, and then you're just rotating that topic conversation in the output of your content. And we have this conversation, I always make sure that your personal brand or your values is absolutely part of one of your brand pillars. And the
Yeah,
reason Nike, Google, they have very strong brands. We look at the brand and we know what they stand for,
that is
right?
true. That is very true.
So what does Stokes Law Group stand for?
Mhm,
Because it is a new brand, okay, Stokes Law Group, law, legal, trademark.
mhm.
But Nike's brand doesn't actually represent shoes. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? It's so much deeper than that.
Mhm.
Nike represents a feeling of what people get when they wear that symbol on their body, on their clothes, on their athletics, all of those things. So, my question to you or anyone doing that entrepreneurial leap is, what is the feeling that you evoke when you have that brand presence, when
Oh,
someone
yeah.
is using your brand? And without sharing that personal brand or your value, you can't get that emotion. So, that is why it is so important for it to be part of your brand mix, in addition to talking about law, actually talking about services and creating solutions to problems.
That's good because that's where you have that connection when
Yes,
you have your personal values that's shining through into your business. And when
right.
those people that have the same values with you, they can resonate with what you post because you all are
Absolutely.
standing in alignment. I love that. That makes so much sense. Look at you. You always drop the gems. I'm telling you, you need to write a book. You gotta
Well,
write.
I will make sure
Imma
that you
push
are the
you.
first person I call
I will push
before
you.
writing down anything
Just
on the
like you
internet.
push me to do more,
Yes.
I'm gonna do the same for you. So, let's talk a little bit about marketing. What is your favorite marketing medium in terms of, let's talk about digital marketing.
Okay.
What is your favorite marketing medium? Because I think that social media is good, but
Mhm.
do I just stick to social media?
Yeah, I think that it really depends on what the outcome is. And so, if someone is focused on brand awareness, I would have tools for brand awareness. If someone's looking for more sales or more customers, I tend to have a strategy for that. Let's say, in terms of brand awareness, I absolutely think like social media is an amazing brand awareness tool, just organically making sure that you have a strong presence on a variety of channels, not just one,
Mm,
because I also preach a lot about that, of
yeah.
not just putting all of your eggs in one basket. But another, I think, underrated marketing tool in the terms of like entrepreneurs and CEOs, it's not underrated for marketers, is SEO. And so this
Mm,
is absolutely like your website is your most important and valuable asset because that is your converter, right? That's how you
that's true.
convert leads to sales or to customers. And so having strong website, having a clear and concise website where the action item is very clear, how to connect with you is very clear, and then it SEO, which is search engine optimization, meaning that you have the right keywords in your website to find new clients or new prospects. So definitely in the brand awareness stage, building your brand, those are going to be two mediums that I'm going to focus heavily on. I
Mm.
think later on, when you're trying to scale, I love working with paid search, programmatic, social ads. Facebook ads are still probably the most valuable social media ads that you could do to scale your business.
I think that's good because with social media, I tell my clients often once you've gotten your name, your brand name, you
Mhm.
want to, even if you don't intend on using YouTube or any other platform, still secure the username for that.
Yes,
Because you,
absolutely.
God forbid, you have someone that once you get huge in business, they take your username and you can't do anything with it and you can't even control them from using it unless you go through the proper channels. You have to go contact the actual company that is hosting this user, such as Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn. Because I've been in a situation with the client where someone took over the social media page and we had to submit to social media platform that this person was the true owner, and one of the things that they asked for was a trademark certificate, and I was like,
Mhm.
whoa, thank God you guys got a trademark for it because that's
Um,
valid.
yeah, it's definitely that before marketing even happens, when you're in the idea stages of your brand or your service company that you want to launch, you absolutely should be doing that research. Who has this name on social media?
Mhm.
Who has this domain, the URL? Who has the name registered? And you can do this all through a Google search and
Yep.
find out this information. And something that I go through when I'm doing consulting is the customer journey or the buyer journey.
Mhm.
Have entrepreneurs or the CEO, I have them take me literally from start to finish. How does your buyer find you, or how does your ideal client find you? How do they interact with your content? What content are they seeing? All the way through the landing page or website, and then the conversion stage. So, what you want to do in the customer journey is you want to eliminate confusion and you want
Mm.
to eliminate that resistance, anything that's going to throw them off. And having multiple or similar names as other companies
Yeah.
is absolutely going to create buyer confusion, because when
Yeah.
they go to look for you on Instagram, they can't find you. Or, like you said, if someone else owns that
Yeah.
handle, you just lost someone because someone,
Yeah. They
you
can't
know,
find you.
nowadays with technology, people are making decisions within 2 seconds. So you have one, two. If that buyer doesn't find what they need in those 2 seconds, they are on to the next company or brand. Absolutely great point.
And another point that you made was the SEO. A lot
Mhm.
of people, and even myself, I am guilty of this. With the SEO, I thought that blogging was dead. So I stopped maybe blogging in like 2018, 2019. And I started doing workshops because a lot of the information that I was typing, I'm like, this could totally be a workshop. But
Mhm.
I'm realizing no, why not do both? So in 2019, I got really smart and I would record my webinars on Zoom and get them transcribed on Fiverr and turn them into a
Yeah,
blog because I want to make sure that when you're searching for a trademark attorney,
exactly.
you're going to find me in that mix. So I had to remind myself that my website is actually the most important part
Yes.
of my business,
100%.
not social media, not anything else. Website is primary.
I'm a big believer in don't spend money until you're making money. You
Yes.
don't have to have a fancy website. You don't have to spend crazy amount of money in the beginning, but
Right.
even a solid landing page or just a
Mhm.
single page website that is very clear but has the information, and like you said, you can post blogs and things like that, is absolutely 100%, what I would say that you should be spending the time and effort towards before you're even thinking about ads and boosting traffic.
Right. The first 2 versions of my website I built myself, and
Yes.
I don't even know how I even had the time to do it.
Mhm.
When you're investing in your business, you find that time,
Correct.
and I'm surprised, and when you look back at it, and technology changes so often that the websites look so old in 2 years because you just gotta keep
Yes.
up to date with the modern technology. The user experience, you said you go through the user experience. I like that. Do you consult with web designers that offer the UI experience? That they call it the user experience. Those individuals, like those are the web designers that probably would speak to you and say, "Hey, how can we make this journey amazing for the client?" Have you had that discussion with anyone, a web designer? Because I would imagine that would be a great partnership.
Yeah, so I've actually only done that with one of my clients. Typically, I do give all of the information to the business owner, CEO. I've actually done it twice. So, one of my clients actually paid me to train their marketing coordinator.
Nice.
Who was in charge of building the website. So in that instance, we actually built the website together. And instead of me executing, I was just consulting on how she should build it out, what that structure looked like, what the keywords look like, etc. In
That's
another
good.
instance, the client did put me in an email with the marketing team that was building the website. And so what I do is I also offer an SEO deep dive service. And so
Mm,
what I did is I actually evaluated the website myself. And so I'm looking at images, I'm looking at the alt text, I'm looking at the back end, how the even the images are labeled within the website is important for your
wow.
SEO. And so then I provide feedback to the website developers. So in those instances, it is a choice for them to bring me
Mhm.
on and connect me with that agency. But typically I do it through the CEO because I do think that, and there might be different opinions on it. Look, you should not be paying someone to do something that you know nothing about.
Right.
This is how people get taken advantage of. This is how entrepreneurs end up spending money on things that are one, not valuable, or
Mm.
two, did not bring them value because you did not know enough about it. It is your responsibility to know what
Yes.
is going on with your brand and your company. You may
Yes.
not be the one executing it, but at the end of the day, it is your company and it is your responsibility. So I always
Thank you.
make people understand that.
Thank you for saying that because a lot of people don't get that. I understand the conversation surrounding outsourcing. I get that. But
Mhm.
like you said, when you are delegating a task to someone and you don't know anything about it, you could
Right.
get slapped in the head with a sticker price that you're like, "What?" I have a good example. I asked someone to do after I got my website built. I wanted to put commerce on my website so I can actually have a shop page. And I
Mhm.
asked how much was the setup for WooCommerce and all of that. It would have run me about between 500 and $1,000. And that was to me astronomical when I had already paid the person a lot of money for the actual website. So I decided to not do that. 5 minutes later, I went to YouTube University, great choice, and figured it
Yes.
out myself. And it literally took me 2 minutes to connect WooCommerce to WordPress, and I was mad at myself because I didn't even take the time out myself before, because I could have solved that
Right.
problem on my own before I inquired with the professional because
Mhm.
I, of course, know how to do my own technology, as a part of my business, and I'm gonna
Right.
maintain my website, and a lot of people don't even know how to maintain their website. Any small
Right.
change that, like you said, and that was a part of my question. If you are coming in after the website is built, now the person has to go back to the web designer and make those changes so that they could be SEO optimized.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
you
And
still need to
what's the
learn.
craziest thing is that I work with business owners who literally get on a call with me and say, "What is SEO? I don't know if my website is optimized for SEO."
See, no,
And
that's not okay. At
and
what
they
point do
have
you
this
research?
yes, and they have this website that they don't know if it's optimized for SEO. And now we have to go back and rewrite the copy in
Yep.
most instances because they are not optimized for SEO. And that's the thing is that website developers are not always marketers, but
Mhm.
marketers always are not developers, but we know
Right.
how the website should go. And so that's a gap in the system in the journey because the developers like I did my job. I built the website
Right.
and I put what you wanted me
Per
to
your instructions, right? But you
that
don't know what you don't know as a business owner. You don't know, like you said, a lot of people are like, "What is SEO? I just want
right.
pretty pictures on my website. That's it." And people
Exactly.
don't get that. It's like, I would first of all, let me ask you to define what SEO is in your opinion, in layman's terms, not tech terms, layman's.
Someone said, "Explain to me like I'm 5 years old."
Yeah.
It's we use that at my company. We always say, "Okay, explain it to me like I'm 5 years old," because we have some of the biggest techies in the world. But so search engine optimization, and so search engine it are platforms like Yahoo, Google,
Mhm.
Bing, where you land on a search engine, right? So in this instance, let's just say google.com. And so you search bar. And so you are searching for key terms. So let's say we want to search for trademark registration or
Mhm.
trademark companies. And what happens is that you get a variety of search items that come up when you search for that keyword. And so, what happens is that you want to optimize your website with searchable keywords that people are going to use to find you. So, for example, if you are wanting to use the keywords trademark registration companies, you would then, in maybe the intro of your website, say Stokes Law Group is a trademark registration company that
Yes.
helps businesses XYZ.
Right.
And so now, the more that you are optimizing these keywords, the faster people can find you and the more direct access they have to you. Because the higher you rank in this SEO rating, the higher your business page will show up on the search results. So we aim to show up on the first page, but
Mm.
in all likeliness, most small businesses end up on page 3 or 4
Wow. Wow.
because or even worse not at all or like the top
Yeah,
10.
that's
But
tough.
I would say small businesses typically I would say 3 4. What you want to do is you want to try to get as strong as 1 2 3.
Okay. So page 1 through 3 is considered strong. I didn't even know that.
Yes, because think about how much time you're willing to search. So if you go into Google right now, and so I just moved into my new apartment and I've just
Mhm.
been looking for a bunch of stuff, but let's say
Right.
I want an office lamp. Search in Google office lamps. I'm not going to go to page 10 on Google.
You don't have time for that.
So they lost my business off
That's
rip.
true. That's true.
I might go to 2 pages, me personally.
Yeah.
If I really don't like anything, might do 3. At that point, I'm giving up. I'm going to Amazon or whatever
Right.
else, Walmart that I know I can find this item. So that's just perspective. You really don't have as much time as you think you do. The buyer
Sure.
behavior time is very short. So if you're not on page 1 or 2, you lost out on the business, most likely.
Wow. So, do you offer copywriting as a part of your service on social on the
I have not yet. I end up doing it
I'm
because
like,
it
you
naturally
yeah.
happens. And there's a lot of just great things about copywriting. It's never something I specifically honed into. It just falls into my lap because
But you're
you're
very good with your words. And let's tell the audience because I know that a lot of my audience come to me for legal advice, right? And there's a distinct difference between copywriting and copyrights. One is with a W and one is with the
right.
R. And a lot of people, even when I am doing presentations, they'll say she's discussing copywriting with the W. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I don't discuss that. I don't do copywriting with the W,
Mhm.
copyrights with an R. And can you tell the audience what is copywriting? And I'll tell them what copyrights are.
Yes, absolutely. So copywriting really is putting it in my own terms and not reading off a technical definition, but it's strategic wording. I don't want to use writing because to explain what copywriting is, but I would just say it's strategic wording when used in marketing. And so, why I say in marketing is because I actually don't just copyright for websites. Copywriting means, what you're using as captions in your post, what you're using as copy in your ads, even when you're creating a billboard. You are writing in a way that is strategic, that is impactful, and that is valuable for your brand. And so that's why copywriting is, to your point, and why you even brought it up on this call, it's a strategy. It's
Mhm.
not someone who just likes to write in their journal, even though I do love to do that. It's someone who knows how to write strategically to create a specific result. So that's how I would define it.
And for in the legal sense, copywriting with the R is actually your protection of your ideas. So if you have created anything in a tangible form, this podcast is an idea that has come to fruition. So every episode can be registered as a copyright and protected under the law. So a lot of people don't know the difference between copywriting and copyrights, and business owners need both, right?
You do.
They need a copywriter with a W and they need an attorney to do their copyrights. So
Yeah.
I want to go back to the discussion. We're swaying from the conversations because I just love having these types of talks with you. I want to talk about entrepreneurs educating themselves before they
Mhm.
take that leap, or even as they are taking that leap. What are your thoughts about the education and what education should they seek out as they're taking that leap?
And this is in terms of just like brand presence and
Mhm.
marketing themselves.
Yeah, how to get your business out there. What are some tools specifically for marketing, even to get them started?
I think that something that's really important to keep in mind when you're starting off as an entrepreneur is that you're never going to know it all,
Right.
because technology, marketing, ways of working is constantly evolving. And
It is.
so you have to have a mindset that is also constantly evolving and constantly educating yourself. For me personally, I have a morning routine. And part of that morning routine is reading marketing articles where
Good.
I'm up to date on trends, I'm up to date on like the latest releases. So I actually do that through a third party source. So I am going to give you guys a gem. It's called Stacked Marketer. So
Ooh,
Stacked Marketer. And it goes through, it's a full stack marketing newsletter. And I love that newsletter. It's one of my favorites. And so I read that, and then additionally, I read all of the marketing updates from my own company. So
oh,
I
good.
look at like any posts or articles that have come out in terms of what our priorities are, what apps we've launched. If we optimize something for one of our apps, I'll also read that.
So you're
I
in the
think,
know of
yes.
everything marketing. I like that. I
So
like
I
it.
think it's creating even a more, whether it be a morning or nighttime routine
That's a
that
good
is
tip.
purely educational. Not only is it important for your business, but it helps you be more confident as a person
That's
because
true.
you are familiar with your zone of genius, your area
Mhm.
of expertise, your marketplace. It's important to be able to hold an educated conversation and make educated decisions. So
That's
that's my number one thing.
huge.
Yes.
Educated decisions. Yes.
Yes. And just, I think having, and you and I have talked about this, like the right mentors in place. If you have a goal, you should have at least one contact or connection in your address book that of a person that is already where you want to be.
That's good.
So you need to figure out how to access at least one person who has already done what you want to do. Because at the end of the day, people have already gone through the obstacles for you. You
That's
do not
true.
need to go through the obstacles. If one of your mentors or family members or colleagues or leaders or managers has already done that, learn from people, go on. And if you haven't established that connection yet, okay, go to their podcast, go to their LinkedIn, go to their YouTube. They talk about their experience. They talk about the things
True.
that they have overcome and how they have overcame them. So even if you have not made that personal connection yet, make a secondary connection to them and start learning from them secondhand until you have the opportunity to get in the same room as them.
That's good. And you and I did have that conversation about mentorship. And sometimes we can be very timid when you're talking to someone that is at a level that you can't even imagine
Right.
yourself being in. Of course, that's a limited belief. We all
Right.
have them, and everyone, you know, doesn't realize how much they can achieve until they
Right.
have those conversations with those people that have achieved that. And
Yes.
then it opens up your perspective to so many things, and you're like, "Oh, wow, hold on. I can have this lifestyle. If
Absolutely.
they did it, I can certainly do it." And another part of that is even for me at the level of success I am at, use air quotes because everyone's perception of success is different, right?
Yes.
Myself, if I love mentoring and I even have conversations, and it's not just a mentorship conversations, it's just you and I have had powwows like, hey, this is what you do in business. And you've said, Shaunette, you can do better in business in this way. And I've received that because at some point, you as the CEO and owner of your business, you have to humble yourself
Mhm.
and take a back seat and still know that there's some things that you do not know. And there
Mhm.
are people out there that are willing to help you and tell you and guide you along the way. So even you could have a mentor that is in a space in life that is super successful, or you could even have a mentor in a small area of your life that
Mhm.
you don't understand. I think that is really good. So can you give the audience some tips other than secondary access to them, which is great, listening to their podcast, reading their books? How do you even approach that person for
Yeah.
mentorship?
So I think step 1 is still doing all of those things. So when you are trying to pitch a mentor, so I teach this strategy and I actually call it like how to pitch a mentor yourself to a mentor. So how to pitch a mentor, and I have a step system approach that I teach, but you really are pitching yourself to these mentors. Like you talk about humility, when you are looking for a mentor, you got to check your ego at the door. Like you said,
Yes.
you do not know everything because
Yeah.
that's the point of having a mentor. If you did, you wouldn't need a mentor. And none
Right.
of us know enough to not need a mentor.
Exactly.
And the first thing is finding someone who is extremely accomplished at something you want to do. So, like you said, this may be an area of business. So, this may
Mhm.
be an accomplished person in the area of trademarks and law. But also, this could be in a very niche area. We are women of faith. We've talked about that as well.
Mhm.
So
Yes.
maybe it's a very well known entrepreneur who is also like a pastor or who walks in faith and who
Mhm.
publicly teaches about how her faith has impacted the growth and scale of her business. And you're like, you know what? I want to grow my faith so that it is as big as hers.
Right.
So first is identifying, person who has something of value that you would like to model after. The second thing after you've identified that person is you need to support that person. You need to support them.
Mm.
You need to engage with their content. So if they are heavy on Instagram, joining their lives, commenting on their
That's
posts,
good.
following them. If they are very active on LinkedIn, engaging with their posts, engaging with their polls. If they do seminars and events, you need to buy a ticket to go see them speak in person.
Yeah.
Or even if they have a book, you need to buy the book. You need to support and you need to do your homework and learn why this person is of value and why you want to be connected to them. So after you have supported that person, what you want to do is then you want to pitch yourself to them. And so how I recommend people pitching themselves is if it's a cold DM, so not necessarily DM on Instagram, but maybe
Or
like
email.
a email or even a LinkedIn connection
Mhm.
can write in the connection comment box. And so you say, I'm actually going to one of my mentors who I cold pitch, and her name is Yai. And so, how funny,
Oh.
right? She has the
Right,
same
same
name
name.
as me, but she is a multicultural diversity marketing manager for a very big company. And she also owns her own networking business called La Latinista. And so, this was years ago, it's probably 5 years ago. This was like, she was everything I wanted to be in the marketing space, like her energy, just the fact that she was Latina.
Right.
And so what I did was I bought her book
Oh,
that she
okay.
was featured in. I started engaging with her content and then I saw that she was having a workshop. And so I paid to join her
Wow.
workshop. And so once I was ready and I was like, yep, this is the person I want to teach me, I sent her a connection on LinkedIn. And how I pitched myself was saying, hi, Yai. My name is Yainis Burgos. I'm in marketing. I'm a Latina, first generation Latina in marketing, just like you, right? Because I
Mm.
read
Yeah.
information about her.
Right.
So I made a personal connection saying, I know who you are. I attended your workshop on X date. I loved when you talked about the topic of
Mm.
making meaningful connections. It made me want to buy your book. And I was also intrigued by X. So now I've made a personal connection. Then I've
Mhm.
made a business connection because I supported her business.
Yes. That's
So then,
good.
three, I'm making the ask. I would love to have 30 minutes of your time. And then I put my value. So, what's in it for her and what's in it for me? I would love to have 30 minutes of your time to discuss how I can better my opportunity. I think at this point I was in the job market. So, I was
Mhm.
looking for how to get into diversity and inclusion within the marketing field. In
Yeah.
return, and I said, like, in return, basically, I think I said, I can help you with La Latinista if you want to host something in Tampa,
Okay.
things of that nature. And she did, just so you know, so not only did she take me up and was like, I would love to meet with you. So we had our meeting,
Oh,
but
wow.
she actually ended up doing a work event in Tampa where she needed me.
Oh,
And she
good.
took me up on that offer of, "Yes, I'm doing this in Tampa.
Right.
Do you have time to XYZ?" So it was again offering myself, my being valuable to her, and then also like her providing value to me.
And then you weren't prideful at all in that transaction. You were very humble. "Listen, I wanna learn from you, and I have invested in your business, and let me learn more." And I think that is the best approach, honestly,
Yes.
that anyone can.
You want to I tell people, please, like, we need to leave "Can I pick your brain?" in
Oh my
whatever
god,
year that it was
please. Yes.
developed,
Right, let
because
it go.
at our big age, no one should be picking anyone's brain.
Right.
Like, we are all educated, we went to school,
Mhm.
we have worked hard for where we have come and where we have gotten ourselves. So no one needs to pick my brain, and I don't need to pick someone else's brain,
Right,
to be honest.
right.
Like, at that point, it's meaningless and it has no value. So
That's true.
make sure that when you are asking someone for their time, be specific with what you want to use that time for. This is not an opportunity for you to just scramble at their brain, because that's really not valuable for either. Even though you feel like you want to say that, it's really not valuable for you either, because at this
Right.
point, you don't have a clear direction, which is going to make the conversation less valuable.
And it's gonna be awkward because you're gonna be
Right.
stumbling over your words. Because the way that you frame it, you do your research first, and you know
Exactly.
about the person before, and that's impressive. If someone comes to be telling me about me, I'm like, "Hold up, you know that much?" And I am actually appreciative that what I'm saying isn't falling on deaf ears, and
Right.
that's validation, and, of course, we don't need it, but you wanna know that people are listening and that you
Right.
actually have something worthy of saying. So that is really good. So you are all about meaningful connections, and I am too. I've always prided my business not on numbers, but on relationship with
Right.
my clients. So how do you, and we can wrap this up with this last question, because much I love digital marketing, but I'm all
Mhm.
about community. What are your thoughts on intertwining not just digital marketing, but marketing out in your community and having a good impact, a broad impact, and also developing those meaningful connections at the same time because it's going to be hard.
Yeah. So just to understand the question, how can, people who are making the leap into entrepreneurship build their brand in the community,
Yes,
as well as like online presence, etc.
correct.
I think you and I have talked about this, definitely going to networking events. So finding out what events are going on in your community, in your city, and plugging into events that make sense for you. Don't
Right.
just be on the scene just to be on the scene, because
Right, right.
time is money. So this isn't to show off your purse or your shoes. Look at the events, look at who's hosting them, look at the topics that they're going to be speaking about, and see if it aligns with your brand, or if there's an
Right.
opportunity to showcase your brand at these events. So definitely that would be one of them. Two, honestly, you are a walking personal brand.
Yeah,
You, as a small business owner, you are your brand. And this is why
right.
I challenge you all the time, because I'm like, anything you post, say, or do actually is a representation of your
Mhm.
brand. So, you know, people who know me in Tampa know that I do marketing. In
Yep.
my Instagram bio, I say I love the ocean and I love sunsets and I love marketing.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
it's part of who I am. And it is a very clear distinction of what I do and what my identity is. My identity is I'm not what I do. So I do think it's important. That's not what I'm saying.
Mhm.
But what you do is part of who you, especially when you are an entrepreneur, because you should be doing things that you are passionate about, that you love, that is aligned with your purpose. And if it is aligned with your purpose, you should be excited it to talk about your purpose every conversation that you have. Networking, making sure that you are speaking into your purpose with every single interaction that you have, even if it's at Starbucks. And yeah, I think like word of mouth is also really big in the
It's
community. I
huge.
know
It's really
you have
huge.
a huge referral base with your
That's very
clients.
important.
Yeah, and so events, networking events, referrals, and just being a walking personal brand.
Because, like you said, it's all about your values. Going back to the original question, your values, it's going to speak through you and in
Right.
your conversation, through your brand, and how you carry yourself in general. So you're
Yeah.
absolutely right. Thank you so much for this
You're
conversation.
welcome. Thank you for having
I
me.
always enjoy our conversations
Yeah.
about just entrepreneurship. And I know that you are not a full-time entrepreneur yet, because one day
Right.
you will be. One day you're going to be on stages telling us all the tea about
Yes.
marketing. And I cannot wait. But this is a platform that I want you to continue to come on and have conversations about what you do, because
Mhm.
I know that my clients need you. I know that my network needs you. I need you. So I think that you are a gem, and please continue walking in your purpose and educating us about marketing, because I love going to your social media and just reading all that you've done and how you intertwine it with your business and your practice and your
Mhm.
values. Everything is clear on your page, and I just love
Mhm.
it. So thank
Thank
you so
you.
much.
I appreciate you.
Of course, I appreciate you. Please tell the audience one last time, how can they get in touch with you and your social media, everything? Because I want them to connect
Yes.
with you.
So, the services that we talked about on the show around consulting and SEO deep dives is through the Faithful Hustle. So, you can do thefaithfulhustle.com and you will be sent to my Honeybook landing page. I offer all of my services there. And then also my through my Instagram is Life with Yai. And so that link is also in my bio, easy to find. If you ever want to talk tech or social media, you can connect with me on LinkedIn at Yainis Burgos, and it'll be spelled out in the episode. Yep, Instagram, and that's it.
All right. You guys check her out, please. She is a gem. She has amazing information to share. And we are out. Bye.